This is SonoranSportsCards coming at you with our first video. In these videos, we plan on first and foremost just talking about sports, talking about the big news in the sports that we watch specifically, and we'll talk about the teams that we like, obviously the most, but we'll try and talk about the whole sport as well. And then we're also just going to be opening some packs too.
And my name is Michael. I guess we'll kind of start off the our first video with what our favorite sports teams are. That way, you guys know if we're being biased when we give you guys our opinions on who we think's going to win. Like, the 49ers, for example, against the Los Angeles Rams. So again, start off with the NFL. I'm mainly into the NFL. Always been my main sport ever since I was a kid. That's what I've always watched. It's what I grew up watching. Was never really into any other sports. My family was a bit into baseball, but it just never caught my eye. But in regards to football, of course, my favorite team is the San Francisco 49ers, who are in the NFC Championship this year. And then we shift over to basketball. I started watching basketball a little before the bubble, right when COVID kind of started affecting everything. And about that time, when I got into basketball, I chose the Phoenix Suns just because I've never lived in a place where I had a professional sports team to root for, that I was rooting for. Because my whole family grew up in the Bay, but I was born and basically raised in Arizona. So I was a 49er fan in Arizona. So I chose the Suns, but unfortunately, since they're not very good and they're never in the playoffs, I decided to choose a team that's more consistent, and then eventually landed on the Miami Heat, who I now try to stay true and follow. And look, for instance, if the Miami Heat were playing the Suns, I'd root for the Miami Heat for sure. Then we'll bounce over to Casey, who you can see is also a 49ers fan based off that decal on his wall.
That's true. Got the decal, got the Nick
Yes,
Bosa
sir.
jersey on for sure. Or should I say Joey Bosa, as the commentator
Yeah, I
did
caught
in the
that.
last game that they were
That was
playing.
pretty embarrassing. Yeah,
Over and over
yeah.
again. It was a couple times actually. Yeah, so I'm a 49er fan. I grew up in Sacramento, and when you're in Sacramento, the closest NFL teams are the 49ers and the Raiders. And I mean, who the hell is going to choose the Raiders? Their fans are like actually
Yeah.
scary. So, I chose the 49ers. My dad was a 49er fan too, so obviously that had
Of
some
course.
influence on what team I chose. Yeah, but living in Sacramento, there's only really one sports team in that city, right? And that was the Sacramento Kings. And so that's probably why basketball means the most to me. I grew up watching pretty much every Kings game. We'd go to Kings games when I was a kid. So we'd see that 2003 team: Peja Stojakovic, Chris Webber, Vlade Divac, Doug Christie, Bobby Jackson, all the boys. That was a really good team, that eventually got knocked out by the Lakers in the 2003 Western Conference
Everybody
Finals,
loves the
which,
Lakers. Like,
you know,
it's NBA. If you like the NBA, you
ex-
probably like the Lakers. If you like the NFL, you probably like the Dallas Cowboys.
you like baseball, you probably like the Yankees. Yeah, all those super bandwagony teams, and it just stung even more given that the Lakers are in Southern California, and there's that little NorCal
Of course, of
SoCal
course.
rivalry too. Yeah. And then we moved to Arizona, and I couldn't watch Kings games anymore. But I still loved basketball. So I was like, well, I'll just cheer for the Arizona team. So I started cheering for the Phoenix Suns in like 2005, which they got pretty good pretty soon after there, right? They had Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, Sean Marion, the 7 seconds or less Suns.
Right.
And that was really entertaining. But since then, um, up till very recently,
It's
they've
been
been
nada
pretty
until
bad,
this
right?
season. Well, last season really, and this season, and
Yeah,
now they
last
are
season.
currently the number one in the West.
Yeah, so everybody that was saying last
A
season
fluke.
was
Yeah.
a little bogus that they got to the finals because of all the injuries to the Lakers, and how great they are. Well, I mean, you can suck it now, I guess, is what I gotta say to those people that say that. And then the other sport I follow, is soccer. In soccer, there's obviously tons of leagues that you can follow. I follow the English Premier League, and this team Manchester City. And yes, I know if you guys are like, "Oh, sick," he just talked about how the Yankees are bandwagony fans and Lakers and stuff, and he picked probably the most bandwagony team of all.
Chose the
And
New
you're
England
right, I
Patriots
did.
of
It was
soccer.
2011. Yeah, it was 2011 when I wanted to start following soccer. And I was tired of all my teams being bad. So I was like, you know what? If I'm picking a team right now that I have no like city interest in, it's a team in England, I am just gonna pick the best team and be happy with it. And it has brought me happiness. They've won 5 Premier League titles over the course of
Yeah.
10 years. So, and they're on course for winning another one. They're at the top of the table. They're 6 points clear of Liverpool. So actually 9 points clear, but Liverpool have a game in hand, so they could be 6 points
Okay.
clear, but whatever. They're doing really well. And those are the teams that I like too, for sure. And the whole purpose of this show, just to like clear that up, is first and foremost, Mikey and I just talk
Yeah,
about sports.
it's
You know,
not
if like
endless. We're not gonna. We'll try to keep our biased opinions out of it when it comes to our favorite teams, of course. But we'll just give our honest opinions, kind of like when you're hanging out with your friends, eating food, drinking a beer, and you're just talking sports. That's what we're gonna be trying to do here. Try to keep everything level, real. When we're opening the sports packs, we're not gonna pull the whole, to try to save the video. Oh, we pulled this awesome card that's actually worth $2, but they make you think that it actually saved the pack. We're not gonna do that to you guys. And I think another thing is in regards to the packs, we're not going to be opening no crazy blockbuster, $500 blaster box opening. We're going to be opening things that the everyday man can afford, $7 pack, $20 pack, $40 pack. Just so if you're watching our videos and you're like, this is something I might be want to toy around with every once in a while. We're doing stuff that maybe hopefully you can afford at that time as well. And I guess for future videos, of course, we're not going to have this whole tidbit in the beginning, so we'll get a little more to the point, which is what I know a lot of you guys are going to want. Um, but I think we'll start off usually each video going over some news, that kind of stuff, with what's going on in whatever sports mainly on the headlines at that time. Example, during the NBA Finals or playoffs, or during the NFL playoffs, and if the Super Bowl, we'll be talking about that more so, just because that's what people are probably watching and wanting to hear about. And I guess we could start off with the NFL since that's currently what's in the playoffs, right, Casey?
Yep, we got the two conference championship games coming up. We got
Yes,
Rams versus
sir.
Niners in the NFC and Bengals versus Chiefs in the
Yeah, and
AFC.
over on the NFC side, the Niners, Rams. I guess we can start with that. Back in the divisional round, everyone keeps counting the Niners out, and I think understandably so. We've been pretty inconsistent the first half of the year. I think the second half we've obviously been much more consistent considering our current position. But it just seems like Kyle Shanahan really pulled it together. Something clicked, and he started using people where they're supposed to be, and we started getting the dubs that we needed, and we are here. We beat Aaron Rodgers by 3 points in 2-degree weather, which was, I think, fairly impressive, holding Aaron Rodgers to only 10 points. That's an accomplishment right there in itself.
Yeah,
And
I if you were to tell me that our offense would score a total of 0 points in a game, I would have been like, well, how the hell are we gonna win that game? But we won a game 13-10 because of our defense and our special teams. I mean, Debo Samuel has been great throughout this whole year. I think if you're an honest like just NFL fan, he's got to be probably the most entertaining player there is, non-quarterback, right? Just the way
yeah,
that he's used running
you
and
don't know
receiving and all
when
that
he
kind of
has the ball.
stuff.
You don't know what's going to happen
Um,
because he's shown that he can rush the ball. He's shown that he can catch the ball in traffic and he can dart around the field. He's shown that he can throw touchdown passes like that one game he threw a touchdown pass. So he's all over the place.
yeah, for sure. But I mean, I guess he did some stuff in that game.
Yeah.
He had some big catches and big runs and stuff like that. But that's all on our defense and
Yeah,
our
our special
special
teams
teams that
definitely
win
caught me
for
by
sure.
surprise because our special teams has definitely been one of our weaknesses this entire year. But they decided to come clutch when it mattered most, and they got us that W.
Hmm. Yeah, so that's Packers Niners. We'll get to who we think is going to win the conference
Yeah,
games in a bit, but we'll just go over the divisional. So, the other NFC one was Bucks versus the Rams. What do you
Bucks
think about
Rams.
that
So
one,
I
Mike?
had my money on the Bucks only because it's kind of hard to bet against Tom Brady. It's whenever he's in the
Yeah,
conversation,
same here.
someone like him or Aaron Rodgers, stuff like that. It's really hard to say I don't see them winning. And I wasn't expecting them to get blown out most of the game, like what happened. I know the Bucks came in with some injuries, but I thought Tommy was going to be able to make up for that and kind of erase all that and make it a very competitive game. And it was not that up until the very end when the Rams controlled really the entire game. They
Yeah, I think the Rams were
27
up
to
by what,
3, and then the
27 to
Bucks came
3.
back and scored 24 unanswered because I think the Rams or Sean McVay seemed to have forgot who they were playing, and they decided it was okay to leave to give Tom Brady the ball as much as they did, and he rallied a comeback when they ultimately did. That game go to overtime, or did it end with a? I think they won with a field goal at the very end, right? It did not go to overtime. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just field goal. Yeah.
And then over on that side, who did you think was going to win that game? Did you also have the Bucks win in that one?
Yeah, I had the Bucks winning
Tom
for the
Brady.
exact same reason you said. I think the Bucks team overall not as good as the Rams team at this point with
Yeah.
all the injuries the Bucks have, but the Bucks have Tom Brady, so like I think the past 20 years suggests that if you root against
Yeah, you're
Tom
probably
Brady,
gonna,
you're dumb. Or like not root against him. Like you can
but
definitely
bet
root against
against
him. We
him,
all do, but
right?
I mean bet against him, yeah, is just a dumb call. So that was that. NFC, AFC first game was Bengals versus the
And
Titans. Uh,
Titans,
yeah, I know you
I
were
was
pretty surprised
pretty
by the
surprised by that. I was
Bengals
pretty
performance, right, Mike?
surprised by the terrible performance from the Titans, to be honest with you. They battled, of course. It was a decently close game throughout the entire thing. Obviously, it ended with a field goal being the victory condition for the Bengals, but I really expected the Titans to perform a lot better than they did. I actually had the Titans going to the Super Bowl in a lot of my discussions that I was having with random people. I told them that I thought the Titans were going to take it all the way, even over the Bills, because I don't know. I just thought the Titans, they seem to not be too great in one aspect, but they seem to be pretty balanced across the entire board, and I think that that's a pretty solid team to take to the Super Bowl. I think everyone was relying on Derrick Henry a little too much. I wasn't expecting him to be have as much impact, and he didn't have much of an impact. With his, I think he averaged 3.1 yards a carry, which, if you know, for Derrick Henry is not that great. Um, but yeah, Joe Burrow. I know you like Joey Burrow. He came in
Yeah.
clutch. He performed well in two playoff games now.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow is
Yeah.
second year quarterback, and he's been truly amazing this season because last season he lost it all due to that ACL tear, right? So, I mean, he had really nothing to go off of his rookie year. So this is pretty much, I
Yeah.
would say, his rookie year, and he's doing amazing in it, man. And if you would have told me he's going to come away with a win when he got sacked 9 times, that's
Yeah.
pretty crazy to me. I wouldn't think any quarterback would win if they got
No,
sacked nine
absolutely not.
times,
With that
man.
kind of pressure, I'm very surprised he only threw one pick. That was rather impressive, especially for a second year player playing in his first divisional round game, getting sacked 9 times and throwing one pick. And did he surpass 300 yards? I believe he did. Right? I think he had. Think it was
I'm not
about
sure his stats on.
329 yards, if my memory serves me correct, in that game.
Hmm. Yeah, and just to bring up, this is a show where we
Yes,
mention
sir.
cards. And so since we're talking about Joe Burrow, I thought it would be relevant to just look at some card prices. Obviously, he was out of the 2020 draft, and his big counterpart
Mr.
is Justin
Herbert.
Herbert, right? And especially after last season, Justin Herbert was outselling Joe Burrow by a bunch. But I pulled up their most recent sales of their PSA 10
Okay.
Prism base cards, and Joe Burrow is selling for 459 and Justin Herbert is selling for 380. So Joe Burrow is now outselling Justin Herbert. I think that happened somewhere in the middle of the season because people just started to see
Yeah,
that
especially
Joey
those
B's
last
putting
two
it
games
together,
of the
man.
season. I think he threw for 3 touchdowns at least in both of them, and I think for over 400 yards in both those last two games, with Jamar Chase being on the other end of that, who also is just another lucky to have him on his
Yeah.
team, especially with their experience they had together over in LSU.
Yeah, that LSU team stacked
Yeah,
for
just a
sure.
little bit.
And I guess the yeah, I guess the Bengals are just making the pro LSU team with their quarterback
Exactly,
and
and it's
wide
working out.
receiver.
It's working out in their favor, I would say, especially for their fans. I think that was their first playoff win. I think their first two. I think they had two playoff wins was the most they've had since 1970s, and it all happened within 7 days. So they've been
Yeah.
in a pretty tough spot being a being a Bengals fan. That must have felt pretty good.
Yeah, I think as far as the teams that are left, the Bengals, for everybody that has no rooting interest in a team, has to be
Yeah,
the
you,
team that
you never
everybody's
see a
cheering
team in
for
the
at this
playoffs.
point.
You're gonna
Just
root for them, right? Because it's something different, and you're tired of seeing
yeah.
the same names like Patrick Mahomes winning the Super Bowl over and over. Yeah,
I remember when earlier in the season people were like, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes is not playing well. They're not even going to make the playoffs." And it
yeah.
was like,
It's
"Listen,
Patrick Mahomes.
listen. Do you realize who that
Exactly.
is? It's like don't count Patrick Mahomes out." And that brings us to the last
Easily the
game,
best
right?
game of the entire
Chiefs
divisional round. I think
versus
everyone will agree unanimously on that
easily.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, Chiefs Bills, where Patrick Mahomes did just that. Don't count him out, right? They went
They
back and
did.
forth scoring touchdowns with Josh Allen and the Bills. As far as cards go, um, I I don't expect a drop off in
He
pricing for
battled
Josh Allen because if you're
battled his
smart and
heart
you
out.
watch that game,
Yeah,
he did just as good. Yeah,
exactly.
he did just as good as you could have expected him to do, you know. And they went back and forth, and I sent you a graph that showed like win
Yeah,
probability during the game, and it
yeah.
was like it was
That's
steadily changing throughout the
slowly.
game, and then you get to the end, and it
Yeah,
just bounces back and forth. It looks like
yeah.
somebody's erratic heartbeat. And like those poor Bills fans, right? They go up with 13 seconds left,
Rest in peace to
uh,
the Bills Mafia,
by a
man.
touchdown.
That's gotta be rough, man.
I know. Yeah, they go up off a touchdown with 13 seconds left. Um, and then Patty Mahomes just walks down the
As Patrick
field and
Mahomes kind of does.
sends it
Yep.
to overtime. And then they win the coin toss, which wins them the game, which shows you how stupid that rule is. You just had two teams go back and forth,
Hey, I
touchdown,
mean,
touchdown,
in the
touchdown,
Chiefs'
touchdown.
defense, I think when they got knocked out because of that last year, they actually requested they introduced a possible rule change to overtime
Mhm.
to ensure both teams get a possession, even if it's a touchdown, and it was declined. So, hey, they tried to fix it, and it didn't happen. So they're just reaping the benefits of something they tried to fix. So can't blame them for that one.
Yeah, for sure. So let's get to who we think is going to win in the conference game. So we got Rams versus Niners. Mikey, who
You
you
know,
got?
I think I'm gonna have to choose the 49ers on that one. It's nothing
What?
biased or anything, right? But no, honestly, I do think people keep on counting the 49ers out, and I don't really understand it. People are saying, oh, you know, the Rams team is too talented, and I'm like, you guys said that in week 18 too, and we won the game still. So,
Yeah, a
yeah.
mere three
And
weeks
what is
ago,
that, six wins
and
in
we
a
won.
row against them? Like, you know, Sean McVay, he
Mm-hmm.
has so much
Yeah.
pressure on him, especially because he's playing the 49ers. Not only because he's in the NFC Championship, but because he's also playing the San Francisco 49ers, who he has a very bad track record against, especially mainly in Kyle Shanahan.
Mm-hmm.
So you know he already has that pressure on him, so that could affect his play calling, of course. And I think with a lot of the current, that was the biggest thing I think in the NFC was a lot of the powerhouse team like the Green Bay Packers, who everyone thought was that everyone assumed they were going to the Super Bowl. That's how well they were playing, and of course you had Tom Brady and his team. But a lot of those teams' weaknesses, when you put it all down on paper, it's what the San Francisco 49ers are, right? They beat you down, they run down the clock, they tire out your entire defense with those runs. Debo Samuel averaging, I think he's averaging like 7 yards a carry this year or something around there.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that same thing with the Rams, you know, with our pass rush. I think the big thing with the Rams again is keeping Matt. Don't give Matt Stafford time to find Cooper Kupp 45 yards down the field, and that's what the 49ers are known for is their four-man pass rush. So, I'd go with the 49ers on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's going to be surprised when I say I'm going with the 49ers too for pretty much the exact same reason. I mean, it just comes down to why would you
Yeah.
pick the Rams? Like, like we just went up against them
Yep.
in a game where both teams benefited from winning and the 49ers won. And I'm looking at the Vegas lines right now, and the Rams are favored by
Hmm.
3.5 points, which, I mean, they are the home team, so I guess that
Right.
makes a little bit of sense, but I would not be betting against the Niners in this one. Yes, the Rams have the better quarterback for sure. I'd say we're pretty even on wide receivers. They got Cooper Kupp, we got
Yes, sir.
Debo. We got better tight end than they do. We got better running game than they do. And I'd say we have a better defense than they do. I know they have the better
But
individual
I think
player, right, in
overall,
Aaron
like
Donald.
teamwork and overall just the way the defense works together, especially with the defensive coordinator, of course, D'Amico Ryans, it's we just have the better defense, especially with the defensive coordinator. I think he's the game changer there.
Mm-hmm. So
Yep.
we got Niners. Then the other game is Bengals versus Chiefs, and same reason, yeah, same reason with the I picked the Bucks in that game. Is I'm picking the Chiefs in this one. They
Yeah.
got Patrick Mahomes. That's all I need to say.
That's
Is they
really the
got
only
Patrick
argument
Mahomes.
you need, unfortunately. And I know we said earlier in the video, how everyone who doesn't really have invested value in any team that's currently in the playoffs, you're going to be going for the Bengals in the AFC because it's a new team. You got Joe Burrow, amazing comeback story. They're going the distance. You want them to win. You want to see that happen. It's like a scene out of a movie. But I can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, especially with Andy Reid being the head coach. I feel I can't even not even 1% of me thinks the Bengals are going to win that game. To be completely honest with you, I think I would not be surprised to see a blowout in the Chiefs' favor.
Yeah, I agree. So we got Niners Chiefs in the Super Bowl, which is a rematch of 2 years ago, which we don't like to talk about, but hopefully we get hopefully it goes down that
Yes,
path and
sir.
then we end up winning, obviously. I'd say that's all we got on the NFL, but switching
Yes,
over to
sir.
the NBA. The NBA is really long season, right? 82 games. So for our show, we're not really gonna go talk about individual results until we get down to the playoffs, but we will just talk about in this time surprises. And I think the first one for me, we're gonna go east and then west. The first surprise for me, I would say, is the
Oh, definitely.
Bulls. Um, yeah, like when they were making their moves in the offseason, I was like, okay, they're bringing in like good players, right? They're getting DeMar DeRozan, they're getting Alex Caruso,
Yeah.
they're getting Lonzo Ball.
And
Like those are
that's
all good
there's a point I
players,
can
but I
make
was
off of
like,
that actually to kind of back up what you're saying here is because that's around the time that I of course mentioned I started getting into basketball, and a lot of the players. So I don't know the players as well as Casey's going to. So when I started seeing the names that the Bulls were signing, I didn't recognize them. Of course, I recognized a lot of the names, but they weren't as prominent to me as say Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, or some of those names. So I personally didn't see them performing as well because I didn't. None of the names really stood out to me, and I think that's what Casey's also saying here.
yeah, like I know like they're good players and everything, but I thought that they were gonna have a huge hole, right? I thought who the heck's gonna play defense? Because Zach LaVine is notoriously does not play defense all that well. Their center Nikola Vucevic does not play defense all that well. DeMar DeRozan doesn't play defense all that well. I think I underestimated how big of a role Lonzo would have and how big of an impact he'd make on the team, and the same with Alex Caruso. But that brings me to, a little fear that I have for them. They are sitting currently at second in the East, but Lonzo's out and Alex
Oh,
Caruso's
really?
out, and
Okay.
they've kind of slipped a
Yeah.
little bit. Yeah, they're both out with like
I didn't
not
see that Lonzo was
serious, like
out.
not like super long injuries.
That's kind of a big
Yeah,
deal with how well he's been
but they're
performing this season overall. Yeah.
yeah, he's been like their third best player, right? They
Yeah.
got DeRozan and Levine, and then it was probably Lonzo right there. So I still think they're going to make the playoffs. I still think they're probably going to host a playoff series. Be at least be fourth, but yeah, that's probably where I'd put them is about fourth. And I think the other big surprise to go off of the Bulls is I didn't think they'd be that high up because I thought the Nets and the Bucks would be higher.
Yeah.
Like right now they're sitting at third and fourth, which, as you said, doesn't matter in the East because of how
Yeah,
like
I mean, right
congested it
now I
all
could tell
is,
you guys I'm looking at the standings here. So the sixth seed is in the East is the 76ers, and they are 2 wins away from first place. So the East is just
Yeah,
one giant cluster. It can change in one day, and all those spots could shift around.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what it's been doing. I know. I have the notes from yesterday, and I said the Bulls were
right.
third, and now they're second. So they're just bouncing around all over the place. Number one in the East, though, Mikey, you want to talk
Number one
about
in
the
the
number
East, the
one team in the East right
Miami
now, buddy?
Heat, baby. Of course, that's the team that I'm gonna have heard the most about because that's all my social media stuff automatically tells me. With the Heat, a lot. I know a lot of people know that early on they were struggling a lot. I know they went on that. I think they had like a 6 or 7 game losing streak where they just could not get it together. It almost seemed like they lost their identity, and I think a lot of that obviously played part in Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo's injuries that were happening. Luckily, I think in that around that time though, they had Tyler Hero who was really stepping up in that sixth man, and he was really helping them stay in a lot of those games and keep their season alive. And I think that's why they didn't lose more games than they did during that time period. But obviously, it seems like the players are more back now, and that's why they've pulled into the first place slot.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Heat are just a
And then
well-built
the
team
addition of Kyle
overall, man.
Lowry, I
I
forgot
mean,
to mention that. That's also who held it down. I forgot to mention that with Tyler Hero. Yeah,
yeah, Kyle Lowry is amazing. I don't know, his stability that he's brought that team through all their
yeah,
injuries is pretty crazy. I think he might be injured right now. I don't know. I think Lowry got
yeah.
banged up or something. Um, But the last surprise I got for the East is the Cavs. The Cavs are currently sitting fifth in the East, which they were just straight bad last year. And did I think they made moves to get better? I think so, a little bit. They brought in Jared Allen. They drafted Evan Mobley. But I don't think I realized how good that team was going to be, man. I don't think them being fifth is a fluke. Like, I think they're going to finish in the top like 6 or 7 teams in the East. And I think they're going to do pretty well from now on because Evan Mobley looks like a beast. And if you're trying to invest in rookies this year, that's the one I'm targeting, like straight up. Like that is the person I'm definitely going to target the most is Evan Mobley. He was the third overall pick by the
I mean,
Cavs,
it's hard to see a.
and I
I think it's
think
hard to even
he's
from my
amazing.
more inexperienced viewpoint. It's hard to see a high draft player performing well in a team that was so bad last year. They were just so awful, and it's hard to see that a player would just show up and start performing well. But he has, so I think he's shown that potential that he can be a superstar, and I think that's also why he's probably a great target for buying buying his rookie card.
Yeah, I know pro comparison people had for him coming out of the draft was Kevin Garnett, and I mean if you could scoop a Kevin Garnett cards for the cheap, which is what we're looking at right
Yeah.
now, I say do it. They got NBA hoops is the only thing that has Evan Mobley in his pro uniform, so I guess if you want to target something, go ahead and target that. I actually bid on a break for the Cavs in
Uh-huh.
NBA Hoops hobby box break. I think there's 4 hobby boxes they were opening. I won. That just happened. I don't know who I got, but that's going to be
Let's
probably the
hope some
first thing I
Evan
do once
Mobley's
we're
right.
done with this video is look
One could
at
hope.
yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
pretty sad if I didn't get any Evan Mobley's. Yeah. And so I think the Cavs are
Yeah.
just really surprising. Darius Garland is doing really well for them. And they're just a really good team. And it's nice to see Cleveland sports teams do well
Yeah,
because
they
they
just had a
normally
horrible
don't do
track
well.
record. Yeah.
Besides, obviously, that time when LeBron went there
Exactly.
and helped him out. But other than that, pretty sad. And then we'll switch over to the West, which I only have 2 surprises with the West. The first is how bad the Lakers are, and I
I
couldn't
think
be
a lot of people
happier
are probably
about
happy
that.
about that.
Yeah, they're sitting at pretty much exactly 500, which in the West gets you in
Yeah.
eighth place. And Mikey can tell you, when they were constructing this team in the offseason, they traded
I
for
could tell
Russ.
you
I
before he even says it.
Mike asked me.
He told me when I was like, "Oh man," I was telling him, I was like, "The Lakers, they signed Russell Westbrook, they got Anthony Davis, they got LeBron James." I was like, "I don't see how anyone's gonna stop them." I was like, I don't see it," because I know all these names and I know they're big names. And the thing Casey told me was, "Who's gonna shoot the basketball?"
Yeah, in a sport centered around shooting the basketball, you wouldn't believe how many times teams are constructed or people are drafted and they can't shoot. And that was the thing I said about this Laker team was who's going to shoot, man? Like Russ is a notoriously bad three-point shooter. LeBron is a very streaky three-point shooter. Anthony Davis is a power forward slash center, so why is he
Yeah.
going to shoot threes all that much? He's not going to. Um, I was just who's going to shoot, and that's what it's proven to be is who's going to shoot. And also, Anthony Davis has been Anthony Davis, which means he's been injured yet again. I think his first game back was today, if I'm correct on that. But you can't trust the guy, so it's just been a LeBron show recently. But that's good enough to keep you in the playoffs because
Yeah, I
LeBron
think
is
I think you mentioned that
probably top two
he
player
where
all
is he
time.
at
So
ranking points wise? Isn't he like second in the overall NBA with points per game right now?
yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah. I
like
mean,
rose to
yeah,
like
he's
second in
one is what
the
Durant
NBA for points
probably.
per game.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure who one is, but I would be surprised if it weren't
Right.
Durant or Curry or something like that. And then the other surprise I got is a positive surprise, and it's pretty much the whole reason we're going to be
Yes,
opening the packs that we're
sir.
opening today, is the
Ja
Grizzlies,
Morant.
which,
What a player.
yeah, Ja Morant, which are third in the West, and for a show that's going to talk about sports and cards, how could we not talk about the Grizzlies, who their whole team is just built off of young dudes, led by Ja Morant, obviously, who's the big ticket item. He's in the 2019 draft. To mention cards, he was obviously out there with Zion,
Oh,
and for a long time, Zion was outselling Jaw
it's Zion.
because
I
just the
mean,
hype is the pure
everyone
reason.
thought
Yeah,
it was
it's
the next
Zion
LeBron or
Williamson. People were like,
Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah.
yeah, as far as athleticism, yeah, people thought that. But I pulled up their card prices yesterday, and the most recent sell of a PSA 10 Prism base for Jaw is $279, and Zion is 207. So Jaw is
I
comfortably
think
outselling
I
Zion
think
at
that's
this
pretty
point. But it's
justifiable.
crazy
I'm very
that we even
surprised
have
that
to say
Zion's even
that.
where he's at
Yeah.
because I think he has been given plenty of time to show that he's going to turn it into something, and I think that is very quickly fading away.
Yeah, I mean, um, what he's proven is like that he might not
Yeah,
care that much about basketball. Like I don't want to judge somebody's like view. Like I'm not Zion, I don't know Zion, but it really seems like Zion just does not care that much
yeah,
about basketball. He's showing up to practices overweight, and then you couple that with a foot injury that's bothered him forever, and the fact that
yeah.
he's just freaking huge and explosive. Not that all doesn't add up to a player that I want to be putting my money in. So if I were you guys, I would be investing in Jaw, which Mikey
Yeah,
can tell you
that's
I have
all he
done.
has talked
Invest in
about
Jaw
for
Morant
quite a while now is getting into Jaw stock. So
is how good of an idea buying Jaw cards was, and I did it, um and that's getting us really to our
yes,
packs
sir.
that we're gonna open. For the NBA, we have a lot of packs that we're going to open in these videos, throughout our videos, and they're all 2019 for the NBA, with the sole purpose of chasing Jaw. I mean, Mikey will get
Yes,
stoked when we pull a
sir.
Tyler
Tyler
Hero.
Hero, sixth man of the year. Am I right?
Yeah, and I mean, obviously pulling a
It's
Zion is still
it's,
going to be
it's still
cool
worth
because
money
those
for some
cards are
reason. Yeah.
valuable, but yeah, but I'm gonna be super excited if we get any Jaws. So I think this is our conclusion of the sports talk in our show. So now we're probably gonna switch over
Yes,
to
sir.
ripping packs. Yeah, so here are the two packs we're gonna be opening. These are really low cost packs. I'm gonna be straightforward with you. We have one Illusions Cello pack right here with the Target Man right on the front. This pack I bought on eBay, 1050. All right, so and then we got 2019 Chronicles, which I just really like these cards. I think it's cool how you can get like random cards from different
Yeah,
sets
I
in
think that's really cool.
Chronicles. So I think that's kind of cool. But again, this card or this pack I think was like $11. So in total, we're looking at like 22 bucks. All right, right here. So that is something that anybody can rip, and that's the whole goal. But as Mikey told you earlier on in the video, if we pull nothing good from this, we're not gonna be happy. We're not gonna overhype it because really the whole goal is to inform you guys to know what you should be buying or what you probably should target, yeah,
Yeah.
with the money that you do have to spend on
Yeah, so
this,
if
right?
Casey pulls a
Um,
$2
so
card, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh my God, that's worth $2. We just saved this pack," because that's not what happens at all.
yeah, so obviously with an $11 pack, right, you got a really low ceiling and a really low floor too, So don't expect any big bangers from this, but obviously if we get Ja, we'll be pretty stoked. We get Tyler, we'll be stoked. So we're gonna open the illusions first, and let's
Let's
get to
get
it.
to it.
I know, right? All right. So we have Terrence Ross,
Terrence Ross.
Bruce Brown, Giannis Antetokounmpo,
Giannis.
which I mean, any Giannis card's cool, right? I mean, it's not
I
valuable,
mean, it
but it's
is
still cool.
Giannis.
Ricky Rubio, and look at that, Ricky on the
Okay,
Suns. Let's
okay.
go. When Ricky was on the Suns, we got Nikola Vucevic, who we talked about is on the Bulls now, but in this he's on the Magic. We got DeAndre Ayton, one of the parallels. I think this is their orange.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
orange. Yep.
yeah. We got a Jeff Teague. We have a Lou Will, a sweet Lou Will. Uh, we got the bald
Oh,
eagle,
Alex
Michael Alex
Caruso, the
Caruso.
man, the myth, the legend.
The bald
Tell me
eagle.
what, I
Let's
want you
go.
guys
All
to look
right,
up
now we're at
pictures
our.
of Alex Caruso and let me know what profession you would think he would be if you didn't know he was a basketball player.
All right, and our rookies, we got Jackson Hayes for the
Okay.
Pelicans. We got DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool. I like
Yeah,
DeAndre Hunter a
that's not
lot
too
for the
bad.
Hawks. And then we got Nasir Little. So we got three rookies out of there. We got that one DeAndre Ayton parallel. Those were the four
Right.
cards that have any valuable or value whatsoever. The rest is just base. Get a lot of base in everything you rip for the most
Exactly.
part, unless you're ripping something that's like $800. Um, because then you just get one card. Shout out to Panini One and Panini One and One. Um, I forgot to mention during these rips, if you see us pull a card that you like, feel free to like message us in the comments on our video, and we'll probably be able to work something out because we're gonna sell these on eBay, and obviously the first people we'd like to sell to would be the people that are watching our videos. So, but with that, I'm gonna open this next pack, 2019 Chronicles. Still hoping for Jaw,
Come on.
and by open, I mean I'm not opening this pack all that well. This pack
Use
is
some extra glue on that
not
one.
ripping.
Uh,
Yeah,
there we go.
here we
Okay.
go. We got it. We got it. We got it. And then
I really like the
so
graphics on these ones.
well yeah, so this is
Yeah.
what I was saying. You get stuff from different sets. And so this is from Luminance, right? You see that little
Yeah.
triangle right up there. This is Luminance, Terrence Davis rookie card. You're gonna get a lot of rookies in Chronicles. Just, pretty low tier,
Right.
like low tier cards. You got PJ Washington rookie card. You got Cody Martin. I don't even really know who that is. You got Brandon Clark for the
Okay.
Grizz. That was the team we
Yes,
were
sir.
talking about, Grizzlies.
Le-
We got a Luminance LeBron
LeBron
James.
James.
LeBron James. LeBron James. We got another Brandon Clark. So we're coming through with the Grizz, just
Not the
not
Grizz
the
that we
Grizz that
want,
we want to
ideally.
see. Yeah.
Pascal
We got a
Siakam.
Chronicles Pascal Siakam showing the world what he can do. That's an interesting insert there, I guess. Oh, that is actually a big card. This next one, we got a Threads, RJ Barrett. Threads is like a more limited run set, and RJ Barrett was, I want to say, the third pick from that season. Yeah, so that's a pretty big card. It's on the
RJ
Knicks.
Barrett. Okay.
Um, we got Demontis Sabonis. We got Darius Garland, who we talked about for the Cavs, is showing out. We got a
Yes,
Darius
sir.
Garland rookie, so that's pretty
Good.
cool. We
Kevin
got
Love.
Kevin
I haven't heard
Love
that. I haven't heard that name in
going
a
above and
while.
beyond. Yeah, man, I know, honestly. We're getting a lot of these above and beyonds. I don't know if that's something that like is
Shining a bunch in the crunch.
what? Oh yeah, yeah.
what,
Derrick
what
Rose.
is that?
I was like, what are you looking at? All right, now we're gonna start getting to our like a little bit more limited stuff at the back of the pack. So we have a
Ooh, Crusader.
a Crusade RJ Barrett. So this is the RJ
Dang,
Barrett
yeah,
pack
we got
right
a
here.
lot of
All
RJ Barrett.
right. Oh, oh,
Oh,
oh,
what is that there?
we got a Recon Jaw.
Recon Jaw.
All right, so we're starting off our little rip set with doing pretty well. All right, we got Jaw, we got some
Yes, sir.
RJs. And so this is what I'm saying about Chronicles. Yes, there's no like huge hits you're gonna get, but I mean, for $10, you pull some
Yeah,
cool cards,
there.
like you. Um, so Do I think we got our value back? Probably
Now,
in that pack,
which
sure,
John
but
one was that?
it's a recon.
Oh, it's a John Recon. Okay.
Yeah, John Morant rookie out of recon. I'm gonna sleeve that bad boy. I'm gonna sleeve those RJ Barretts too.
Man, well,
Oh, I love
you
John Morant.
actually got a jaw.
All
Kind
right,
of
off the bat
surprised.
too, you know.
That's
I was kind of like, oh, this is gonna be our series. How many videos are we gonna do before we actually get a John Morant? Yeah, man, we actually got some really cool rookies out of that. You got RJ's twice, Darius Garland, some Brandon Clark action, and then obviously
right.
Jaw, which is, the most exciting. So, I mean, if we're comparing those two, right, they were both $11. I mean, you got to easily go with the Chronicles one that we opened right there. But we will do Chronicles again. We got some hanger boxes, all of that stuff. So Chronicles
Yeah,
is
well,
definitely something that I like. So we'll
yeah,
be
I
doing that
think
quite
I'm
a bit.
definitely a fan of the Chronicles. What was that initial one you pulled? What pack was that? The Luminant one, the Luminant set.
No, it was called not Luminance. Luminance. No, it's called
Illusions. Yeah,
Illusions.
I really like that cover a lot.
Wait, out of Chronicles? Like the
Yeah,
first
the
card I
first
got
card.
out of
Yes, sir.
Chronicles? Oh, that was yeah, you were
Okay,
right. That
that's
was
what I thought. Yeah,
Luminance. Sorry.
Luminance.
I thought you meant
No,
the
no,
first
Luminance.
pack I
Yeah, I
opened. I was
really
like,
like
that's
those cards a
Illusions.
lot.
Yeah, I have a Jaw in Luminance because, obviously
Right.
Jaw. So gotta have Jaw in everything, really. Let's be honest. This is the first Recon Jaw I got, so that's cool.
Yes, sir. So that was the two packs that we decided to open. The name of the packs, Casey, again, read them for me.
We had Illusions and
Illusions and
Chronicles,
Chronicles. I would say
both
both
solo
solo
packs.
packs. I would say the Chronicles was probably the one that I would prefer over those two. I just like the randomness of it. I think that personally I would prefer to have stuff like that because you never know what you're going to get. It's hard to guess that obviously when it's completely random as it is. Then obviously I was surprised that we actually got a Jaw out of two packs. We got a Jaw Morant.
Mhm.
What was the Jaw Morant that we got? Let's go and pull it up. Pull it up in your webcam
Is
here again.
out of Recon. There it is.
There's the Jaw
There he is.
Morant. Already sleeved up.
Yes, that's
Yes,
pretty
sir.
cool.
Well, which one was your favorite out of all the both packs? Which one's your
Oh, I mean, easily the
Chronicles? Okay.
Chronicles, but Chronicles, as far as like the cheaper stuff, is pretty high on my list. Like period.
Okay.
So when going up against anything, it's going to be pretty high up there, just because of what you said. You get all these
Yeah.
different cards, right? We got
And
Crusade
do we know
from
about how much
Prism.
those
We
two
got,
packs are going for right now?
like I said, about
11
11
bucks
bucks
each. Okay.
each. So
That's not
yeah,
bad.
so you can get them for on the low, and you have the chance to pull a
Yeah,
jaw.
in
And
regards to that
I
job,
don't.
by the way, I pulled it up here on eBay just because I was curious, and I'm seeing some that are a lot of them right now are in bidding that are ungraded. They're starting at $1, but they're going up as far as I think 7 is the highest I saw. And people,
Yeah, right.
there's a SGC 8 that's listed for $10, and I think some have sold for $10. So, I mean, you said they were $11, so that pack actually came out pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. So yeah, Raws. Who knows what they sell for Raw, but I mean, it's just cool having a job, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
You
it's
got a
just
job.
really
You
cool
got
if
what
you
you wanted,
can.
right? Exactly.
Yeah, if you can pay $11 and get a jaw,
That's
that's what life's about, I would have to
yeah,
say.
just a little bit. All right, well, I think that was basically it for the card openings, guys. I think of course, we're going to change it every video. We're not always only going to be doing basketball. We'll be doing some football here in the near future. But yeah, I don't think the plan is to open a lot of packs at once. I think we'll probably try to open, like he opened 2 packs right now. We'll probably try to keep it low like that just so we can pump out this content weekly. And again, just talk football. Two dudes talking football. We'll try to every week. Again, we're gonna go over the big news of what's going on that week in the sports area, and then we'll look at the packs. I mean, that's really it. 'Cause we don't have to do our intros after this. So again, and we're going to be
Yeah.
going. If you like this video, please give us a like and a subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Of course, we'll be going live every time we shoot these videos because we all want it all to be raw footage. Then we'll you can watch live, you can talk to us. I turned off the delay so you can talk to us as we're talking. We'll see your messages pretty quickly. You will have an opinion that you disagree, you want to chime in, you are more than welcome to do so. And like Casey said
Yeah,
about
exactly.
if you, any cards you want, Casey, you said that they could do what now?
Just comment on the
Yeah.
video and we'll see them and we'll work out a way to swap contact information and get those sold because obviously but don't come after my jaws. I'm not going to sell them to you. All
Depends what he
right.
gets them to.
Yeah, but if you want anything else, yeah, definitely let me know and we'll work out something for sure,
All
man.
right, and of course, if you have any recommendations for what you think we could do differently in our channel that you think might work out better, if it's something you'd prefer to see, if you think something we're doing we shouldn't be doing at all, leave your comment. Let us know. We're going to take everything very seriously because we just want to have something that you just want to relax to and watch and just kind of hang out. So let us know down below in the comments. Let us know how you felt about this video. Let us know which of the two packs you prefer. I want to see what you guys' opinions are on that too. And again, I'm
Mm-hmm.
Michael. I think we're going to aim for one video a week. I think I said that once before, but we'll let you guys know. Of course, holidays could change that and make it every 2 weeks or whatever's going on in our life at that time. But again, I'm Michael. This is Sonoran Sports Cards. Over here is Casey.
Yep.
And that should be about it for the first video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, peace out, everybody.